Since I've shown you my DIY high-gain guitar tube preamp in a previous video, one of your most frequently asked questions was, what the f does gain even mean? How does this box push a clean signal into that beautifully distorted metal tone? I'm glad you asked. Let's take a closer look at the science of high-gain tube preamps. First of all, let's hear what it sounds like to increase the gain of my tube preamp from clean to crunch to overdrive and finally push it into full distortion. Now that we have a feeling for the effect of gain, let's see what's actually going on inside of my tube preamp. The input signal first goes into the clean stage, where it is boosted in volume. In the drive stage, it is boosted in volume even further when the drive switch is enabled. The actual crunch, overdrive and distortion effects happen in the gain and final stages. We have 4 stages in total. Each stage is a little amplifier on its own, and each tube in my amp contains 2 of them. In engineering, gain is just a number. It's the ratio of each little amplifier's output level to its input level. It's safe to assume a typical gain of 50 for each little amplifier. Now, using the engineer's definition, inputting 1 volt into my amp would output over 6 million volts. Clearly, this calculation is complete bullshit. So what's actually going on? Let's not forget that an amplifier's output voltage cannot exceed its supply voltage. The tubes in my amp are powered by high voltages around 200 volts. So when we put 50 volts into a little amplifier, it will still try to amplify that signal big time, but of course it can't, because we only give it a 200 volts supply to work with. The result is a smashed or clipped signal of no more than 200 volts. And this clipping is precisely where the magic of crunch, overdrive and distortion happens. My amp actually does it 2 times. First, the gain stage clips the signal asymmetrically. Then the final stage clips the signal again, but symmetrically this time. Let's do an experiment. Here's a perfectly clean 1 kHz signal on the left, with the spectrum of that signal on the right. Now watch what happens when we clip the signal asymmetrically. New frequencies appear in the spectrum at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kHz and so on. These are called even harmonics. And what happens when we clip the signals symmetrically? New frequencies appear at 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 kHz and so on. These are called odd harmonics. So every time the signal is clipped, harmonics are created. These additional high frequencies are the secret to giving the amp its characteristic gain sound. Now we also understand what the drive stage is for. It pushes the gain and final stages to clip even harder, producing even more harmonics and thus more of that high gain sound. And this is how my tube preamp works. I hope that by now you have a better idea of what gain actually means. If you have more questions, leave them in the comments below. Now we can finally address the most important question. Will it chug? Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.